There's a saying that goes, cheaters never prosper. Which, in the world of video games, simply isn't true because cheaters prosper all the time. Especially this fucker who keeps killing me in Overwatch! I'll find you and end you, you son of a bitch! Every now and then, though, developers find interesting and funny ways to force players to adhere to the cheaters never prosper maxim. I'm Mitchell from SegmentNext.com, and these are 10 hilarious ways developers punish cheaters and pirates. Number 10. Mirror's Edge is a game that's all about making thrilling jumps and putting yourself in the shoes of a parkour expert. But if you happen to pirate the game will actually slow your run speed down to make it impossible for you to make even the most basic of jumps in the game. This, like almost every anti-piracy measure, was quickly removed in subsequent uploads of the pirated version of the game, but it's still a funny way of EA taking a jab at those who would pirate. Number 9. Link is one of the most quintessential heroes in all of video games, not some petty thief. Or at least that's what Nintendo wants players to think. In Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, there's a trick players can use to steal items from the shop without having to pay for them. But while you can fool the shopkeeper, you can't fool the game, and doing so will change your name for the remainder of the game to Thief. Keep on doing it, and eventually the shopkeeper will have a surprise in store for you. Number 8. Continuing on the thread of stealing in games, stealing in Spelunky may seem like an easy and simple way to nearly fully equip your character early on in the game, but try it and you'll incur the wrath of the old man with a shotgun and all 1,000 of his identical brethren who are all waiting for you at the exit of every single level until the end of the game. Number 7. Cheating in online games is especially deplorable as it affects not only your experience, but those that you play with as well. Which is why John Smedley, the CEO at the time of Daybreak Game Company, the developers of H1Z1, saw it fit to ban more than 25,000 hackers from the game. But he gave them the option of restoring their accounts should they film and share an honest apology via YouTube. Number 6. A fun way that Maxis decided to take a jab at Pirates of the Sims 4 was to play around with the pixelization filter that happens when one of your Sims gets naked. In the non-pirated versions of the game, this pixelization would go away once the clothes return. But for pirates, the pixelization not only stays, but it grows and grows until eventually it looks like you're playing some piece of moving abstract art. Number 5. One of the most famous areas of Banjo-Kazooie is the Treasure Trove Cove, and more specifically an area inside the Treasure Trove Cove where players can enter a variety of simple codes obtained by finding an NPC named Cheeto to max out their feathers, or eggs, or health. For most players that just play the game normally, that would be the extent of the cheating. But there are several cheat codes that allow for more substantial cheats, such as the ability to open up doors in the hub world without having the required jigsaws. Using one of these cheats will prompt a warning from Gruntilda that she'll delete your save if you persist. Do it a third time, the witch makes good on her promise and will delete your save when you restart the game. Number 4. Back in early 2014, a well-known exploit in GTA 5 allowed players to pull in an overpowered vehicle from the single-player mode into GTA Online. Once Rockstar got wind of it, they decided to deal with the problem in the most hilarious of ways, by making the exploited cars explode whenever the player attempted to get into them. Number 3. One of the biggest myths in all of video games in the late 90s was whether or not there was actually a code to enable a nude character model of Lara Croft in the original Tomb Raider. Obviously, the code was never real, and in Tomb Raider 2, the story goes that the developers leaked out a real nude code for the sequel, except it wasn't real. And in fact, the only thing the code would do is make Lara explode. Number 2. Crow Team is notorious for putting fun ways to deal with people who pirate their games. But their most infamous tactic was dropping an immortal scorpion monster that moved at insane speeds and hunted players with a cracked copy of Serious Sam 3 in the earliest levels of the game. Progressing through the game was impossible with the beast hunting you down, and while hackers would find a way around it, it at least led to plenty of confused forum posts that outed them as pirates who fell for Crow Team's trap. Number 1. The mother, you see what I did there? Of all anti-piracy measures, Earthbound had a multi-tiered way of dealing with what it discovered were pirated copies of the game. First, there was a notice at the very beginning of the game that let you know that the copy you are playing is not meant for your Super Nintendo or Famicom. Then, it'll display a message to make sure that you know that copying games is a serious crime. If you continue to play, you'll have to deal with a much higher encounter rate and some enemies that appear in areas that they don't belong in. To top it all off, if you manage to get to the last boss battle of the game will lock, and once you restart, you'll find that all of your progress will be erased. And that's our list. Did we miss any that you think belong on this list? Let us know in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos right here on Segment Next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.